So, Vivek, you built a brand up of Ayurveda when Ayurveda was not considered, let's say, legitimate. It was just something that we heard herbal and natural. So, what was your journey like from building the brand and taking it global?
I think uh, I think the most important thing is you to figure out why you're doing something. You need to be really clear. Like, am I doing this to make money? Am I doing this to get fame? Like, what's your purpose? And I guess once you figure out what your purpose is, then your journey to do whatever you're doing is defined. And ours was very clear. It was to take something which was Indian, which was traditional, and which had proven efficacy out to the world, and that was Ayurveda. And so when we started, it didn't really start out as I guess it did start out as a business, but not really like we have to go make so much money at the end of X number of years. It was basically how do we take classical, authentic Ayurveda without dilution, with the original formulations. So we were in Kerala, we were in Coimbatore, we worked with the pharmacies, we looked at, so when there are thousands of formulations. So what did we look at? We looked at concerns. So traditionally, Ayurveda is a system of medicine. It's a system of medicine which is basically healing inside out, and you have a medicine when you have a problem. So we looked at skin, so dark circles, fine lines, pigmentation, all the things which are there. We all have them. It's just what we also looked at was, and the reason of Ayurveda was that it was natural and it was slow beauty. They say best results start after 21 days. So it wasn't a quick fix. We looked at hair, and again, hair, falling hair, dandruff, itchy scalp, scaly scalp. So we looked at concerns, and then we looked at problems, solutions for them. And then we stuck with that. We didn't go with any trend. We stayed with authentic classical Ayurveda. And even now, 20 or 24 years later, 23 years later, what we're doing is just refining the formulations. So for the Kumkumadi, which is an iconic product, um, you know, these texts were codified a few thousand years ago. Before that, there were oral traditions. So, things get lost in translation. And we've spent many years just going back to find out as close to the original text and constantly modifying the formula. So for us, it's staying true to authentic classical Ayurveda. And I think also the real success of Karma, well, one of the real successes of Karma, has been to take these names, Kumkumadi, Nilibrangadi, Nalpramadi, which were unheard of, unpronounceable 20 years ago, and now they're household names. And actually, you Google any of them, there are like 200 brands selling them. So actually, it's been quite an extraordinary journey to take something, and I think this key thing was to take something Indian, traditional, proven efficacy out to the world. And we opened 2 stores in the UK last year. One at Harrods, which is an iconic department store, and one freestanding store in Notting Hill. And with both of them, again, in both the stores, there's an Ayurvedic doctor giving consultations. There are treatment rooms giving you head massage, Ayurvedic head massage, Ayurvedic body massage, facials. So, sticking true to Ayurveda through. And I think that's been the true success of our journey.
Lovely. So, but going abroad and setting up shop in exclusive places like Notting Hill must have come with some challenges. Can you tell us what were those challenges?
So we started this conversation actually, I think in 2017. It took a while. It took about 6, 7 years, figuring out what should the products, should this be the same products from India? Should they be different? Should they be varied? And we were initially doing it on our own. Then we have a majority investor now, and the reason we partnered with them, it's a company called Pooj, is because they have a global presence, and we are now, so they've actually helped us with these associations and helped us open the stores there and do all of this work. But what is truly extraordinary is what we found is the best sellers here are the best sellers in the UK. The hair oil, the face oil, and the rose water. And so it just shows human beings are pretty much the same around the world. similar concerns, similar issues, and also for products that work.
So, what kind of customer demographics are you looking at, UK? Is it mostly diasporic or is it a
So
mix?
we assumed when we started would be diasporic, which is one of the reasons we went there. But now no longer. It's lots and lots, especially in Notting Hill. It's local customer. And what we've also found, which is actually super exciting, is that the treatment rooms are booked up and the doctors are booked up. So people are actually coming for consultations on a regular basis. And it just shows that I think in a world which is so crowded, with so many different, brands, so much noise, when you find something which is actually authentic, which is true to the true to the, I guess, this foundation, people do automatically come to it. You don't really need to do that much.
Lovely. So, you are available on Q-commerce now. How has that been?
We've had no choice but to be available on e-commerce since the pandemic. So Q-commerce, sorry. Q-commerce, yeah, yes. Recently, I think we started last year just before Diwali. It's been fantastic. It's like quite amazing, very exciting. Let's blink it right now, and I think we're going to start moving to the rest quite soon. And it is amazing how how well they curated their stuff, because it was like your last minute gift box, and it was like zap. And ditto with Holi, we had things to like put in your hair to prevent the color coming on, face oil to prevent the color staining. So little Holi kits, it did phenomenally well. So I think we're very excited about it. The fact that you can now get Karma Ayurveda in a store and also delivered home, blink it in minutes. Yeah, quite exciting.
That's fantastic. So, we'll open the floor for questions. Yes. Yes, please.
Hello. Hello. So post-COVID, we all have seen there is a sharp traction towards Ayurveda, and I hope you would have seen it in your brand as well. So what you see in next 10 years, where the Ayurveda is leading, and is India is going to be a leaders in providing a authentic formulation in terms of Ayurveda, or this clutter will settle down over a period of time?
Well, I guess we're certainly banking on the fact that Ayurveda will stay. And I don't know about anybody else, but we're certainly sticking with the authentic Ayurvedic story of not dilution, of staying true to formulation. And even our creams, for example, the base oil, the foundation, the actives, is an Ayurvedic oil. So we're definitely sticking on it. And I think so. I think what a lot of people don't realize is that yoga and Ayurveda are sister sciences. Traditionally, you would do yoga and meditation, I guess, to balance your body. And when your body was out of balance, you would go to Ayurveda to heal it. And we're hoping that with the success, and we know now that yoga is everywhere, pretty much every part of the world, we're hoping that, I guess, Ayurveda replicates that in the same way. So hopefully it'll be around for as long as possible.
Can I take one more question? It's just
Yeah.
so as 50% of the generation now is Gen Zs, means post 2000 era guys. So what your view on how's the traction among these guys? And because millennials and a generation before us was inclined somehow towards the household remedies and all, but towards this Gen Z's era, what is your view on it, sir?
Well, I don't know about our view, but what we have seen in the stores is that one is that they're far more educated. They're far, because just the sheer amount of information they consume. They're very conscious of what's happening around them, to the environment. They're very conscious about sustainability, and they're very conscious of what they use. So I think in fact, it's even a bigger audience now. And as they grow up, I guess they're living through global warming and watching the effects of all of that. They're very conscious of what they will eventually put on their faces. So I think we're in a good space as far as they're concerned.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yes,
Good
please.
afternoon. I'm Divakar here. So I wanted to know to take this products global, what kind of regulatory hurdles you have to overcome?
So in fact, what we had started doing was even before we opened the stores, we were exporting it. The products were being exported, and we had to go through a very rigorous. There's an EU certification program for all the oils, where they actually test every single product. They also want to know every single ingredient. So, for example, if you're using neem, it has to be, is it neem seed, neem bark, is it debittered? I mean, there's a full protocol. It takes a while, and it's expensive. So you need to do all those protocols before you're allowed to export into the EU.
How long did it take you to clear all that?
Well, we started doing this in 2000 and I think 8 or 9 when we first started exporting. It took about a year and a half. And then they changed the regulations, so you have to redo it again and again. So I think we've done it 4 times already. And now, of course, we did it now again when we started the store, so it happened all over again.
Thank you for taking Ayurveda globally.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
There's a lady back there.
Hello? Yeah. I just wanted to ask, how do you approach Indian customers with your brand? Like, we have local players like Patanjali and other brands, right? So how do you approach or reach Indian customers with your brand or your products and, make them use your...
Could you say that again?
So how do you reach Indian customers, like, with your product, comparing your competitor?
Well, the thing is, we are based in India, so we're only reaching predominantly Indian customers. We have stores, so there's physicality of, I think, 65 or 66 stores. And we've got about, I think, 90 shop-in-shops. So there's that. There's also e-commerce. There's also, we're on all the platforms, so Nykaa, Amazon Luxury, Myntra. And now we're also on quick commerce like Blinkit. And I guess people communicate with us, I guess through social media like pretty much everybody else, and plus influencers. So, I mean, that's I guess pretty much the standard way. It's a pretty wide network of getting to consumers in India.
Thank you. There's a lady
Hi.
there. Oh, you also have.
Yeah. So, just wanted to understand. See, Kama Ayurveda, what we understand the consumer is more on the personal care and the skincare regime. Since Ayurveda is also always linked with the OTC, which is the over-the-counter product, like your pain care, pain management to cough, cold. So, do you think there is a merit of Kama Ayurveda to get into the categories which is more OTC driven as well?
So, we looked at that when we started. When we looked at Ayurveda, when we were starting, we were looking at whether we should be an overall wellness brand with supplements, with all of those things, because they have a very, that's what Ayurveda is about. But I think when we started, we took a conscious decision to just stick with skincare, hair care, and some body care. And I think that's the focus. Though I think eventually it does make logical sense to get into that. It's very valid, absolutely right.
Lady there, you have your question? Yeah. Please.
Hi, my name is Priya and I'm user of your product. I really love your products and more than me, my brother loves it. What I want to understand, being in India market where we have so many cosmetic brands and they are talking about the same thing, even they are talking about the products which have herbal things and all. How do you decide which product to come next and how do you decide the positioning of it comparatively to the other brands which are available?
So, okay, let me start at the beginning. When we started, we looked at hair. So we had one hair oil, which was basically for falling hair, dandruff, itchy scalp, scaly scalp. We had one face oil, Kumkumadi. We had a face wash, which is a powder, a face mask, which is a powder, 2 body oils, 3 soaps, and a body scrub, also powder. So, and a shampoo, also a powder. So it is literally pure Ayurveda, pure authentic Ayurveda. And then over a period of time, we found that a lot of people did not want to put oil on their skin, they had issues. So we made a cream, we made our first cream, the Kumkumadi cream. And again, the base was, the active was Kumkumadi. And so I guess the first 10 years were basically spent developing products slowly and all around concerns. So it's a problem solution brand, and it was not, you're not using Karma because you wanted to. It wasn't sensorial. You did not have a nice bubble bath. You didn't come to Karma for that. But you did come to Karma if you had any skin or hair care or body care related issues. And so we developed products around that specifically. So creams for the day, night, baby massage, massage for pregnant women, all of those, all the different categories. Now, obviously, the things have changed. So there's a much stronger NPD process. Earlier, it used to take us 2.5 years with testing to develop a new product. But now we've got, we've got a much larger team. And also we are looking at what's available, what I guess the market is demanding. So the innovation process is, I guess, become more driven to what consumers are looking at. But earlier it was pretty much whatever problem you had, we were directing products towards that.
Are you looking at color cosmetics?
Well, if I can find all natural colorants, which there are obviously, I mean, there's been there traditionally, of course we will, yeah, for sure. But till such time as we get that, no.
Kumkumandi. Okay, I think that will.
Thank you.
More questions?
Any more questions? Anybody?
Okay, one final one.
Yeah.
Final one.
Quick and crisp, please.
So Kama Ayurveda itself being a really old brand, like you've been here for a really long time. But there are a lot of new brands that are bringing up trends on a daily basis, like this retinol and niacinamide, and tomorrow is going to be something else. So how do you keep up with it as a brand that's been there for so long?
Well, the thing is this, we're not a trendy brand or a trend-driven brand, okay? We also don't know, so the thing is this, what's the point of Ayurveda? Is that it's time-tested. Literally time-tested over thousands of years, okay? And I remember speaking to one Ayurvedic doctor and I asked him, why do we go back to classical formulations and why don't we make a new one? And he said, a new one is good, Vivek, but we use the classical as a base because it's time-tested. If I start now, I need about 6 to 8 generations to be able to prove that there are no long-term side effects. So we have no idea what the long-term side effects of using a concentration of any of these things is, There is naturally occurring, all of these products come from nature, and they're naturally occurring in all our products, obviously in much lower concentrations than a concentrated active, which we're putting alone, a single active alone. These occur naturally within most of the products which we make on skincare, but there's no concentration on it. So frankly speaking, what we are doing now is we are highlighting that it does exist naturally within the product. But, our core business is authentic Ayurveda. It's not a trend-driven brand. We're not here to make money quickly over a trend, which may or may not work. I have no idea, or may not work in the long term.
But are you able to communicate that with your customer, and what do you see in that direction?
I'm sorry?
How does your customer react to that when there are times?
Extremely well, yeah. Extremely well. I mean, we've found great success in the UK, which is exposed even more. It's a mature audience. They're exposed to all of these products, I guess, in a higher concentration over a longer period of time in the West. And I guess because they've experienced so much of them, they've seen the side effects, and they're now coming back to, I guess, a natural product. So we're finding they're coming to us, over here it's still new, but over there it's been around for a long time. So they are coming to Ayurveda because I guess they feel safer.
Thank you.
All right, let's give them both a big round of applause. That was such a fantastic interaction.